Almost as soon as Erik ten Hag arrived at Manchester United, questions started to be asked about who he would bring in to spearhead his attack. And with a full season under his belt, this summer seems the optimal time for the Dutchman to bring in an elite forward. But who is the perfect number 9 for Manchester United? Looking for the perfect player for a specific team may not be as simple as it appears. The word perfect is actually fairly vague and raises further questions. Perfect for what? In what way? For whom? In this instance, the most obvious way to frame the question is probably who is the perfect number 9 for Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, with the emphasis being on ten Hag himself. To answer this question, we might look back over ten Hag's previous teams. When ten Hag burst onto the European scene with his famous long run in the Champions League with Ajax during the 2018-19 season, he tended to use Dusan Tadic as a false 9, with David Neres and Hakim Ziyech running in beyond him from wide, and Donny van der Beek pushing up through the middle. He didn't always do this though. Even in the Champions League, ten Hag would use a more traditional striker such as Kasper Dolberg. In the Eredivisie, this usage of a standard 9 was much more pronounced, with Dolberg and Klaas-Jan Huntelaar picking up 29 starts between them. Later on, Sebastian Haller became the linchpin of his Ajax attack. So the concept of a perfect Erik ten Hag number 9 isn't well defined. There may be a perfect number 9 for one game, and a very different perfect number 9 for the next. This raises the question of why we're so keen to look for a specific profile when there are so many things to take into consideration when assessing potential signings. Of course, the context in which a number 9 was considered perfect for ten Hag at Ajax seems to have been the strength of the opponent. In the league, where Ajax were dominant, the Dutchman used a traditional 9. In the Champions League, where Ajax were often underdogs, particularly as the tournament progressed, he was more likely to use a false 9. At Manchester United, although ten Hag is expected to build a dominant side, it is unlikely that he'll be able to do that to quite the same extent, at least not in the immediate term. How does this impact the perfect number 9 for Manchester United? Well, we've already seen this in action in the current season. The watchword here is flexibility. Since bringing in Wout Weghorst on loan, Erik ten Hag has played him either as a regular 9, or deeper as a 10, or even an 8, although numbers are always approximations. By dropping Weghorst deeper, it seems that ten Hag is utilising his skill set as an excellent out-of-possession player. But it's hard to know whether this is motivated by a lack of depth in central midfield, or a need for a different kind of player in the 9 slot in these games. In those instances where Weghorst has been used deeper, Marcus Rashford has tended to be employed as a more direct option, able to run in behind from a central space. Perhaps the perfect number 9 for Erik ten Hag is a player who can do the sorts of things you might expect from a traditional number 9, play back to goal, hold up the ball, link up the attack, press well out of possession, but with the added ability to make direct runs in behind and offer a goal threat in that way too. But another way in which we could interpret the perfect number 9 for Manchester United would be with an emphasis on the players that Manchester United already have. Who is the perfect 9 to accompany Rashford, Antony and Bruno Fernandes? Once again, this is not the easiest question to answer. In bringing in a new number 9, Manchester United don't simply want to improve the current starting 11. They also want to bring someone into the team who could feasibly raise the potential of the team much higher. If that player doesn't play well with one of the current players, that might mean that the current Manchester United player needs to be improved upon in the market rather than the number 9 not being the correct fit. With this in mind, the perfect number 9 for Erik ten Hag's Manchester United is probably the player who fits the profile of 9 that he likes, but who raises the potential ceiling of the team the highest. Of course, financial constraints will come into the equation too, but in its simplest form then, the perfect 9 for United can be boiled down to the number 9 who can come in and score the most goals within ten Hag's system in the competition Manchester United find themselves in. Now, there can be little surprise that Napoli's Victor Osimhen has been touted as an option. The Nigerian has been scoring goals in Serie A and the Champions League, and fits the ten Hag profile nicely. He can run in behind, but can also do the back-to-goal link-up play work as well. He's also a proven goalscorer in the top 5 European league and in Europe. Harry Kane is another name who has been raised as a potential 9 for Manchester United. Again, he fits the profile well with an unimpeachable scoring record and an array of playmaking abilities that would complement the incumbent players. On top of this, his Tottenham contract comes to an end in 2024, making him unusually affordable. Beyond this, there are other options who could be cheaper, but with the added risk that they are not proven at the very elite level yet. Players like Brighton's Evan Ferguson, Ajax's Brian Broby, Goncalo Ramos at Benfica, or Atalanta's Rasmus Højlund. This is the sort of payoff that Manchester United have to consider given the competitive market that exists in modern football. Signing more than one forward, perhaps one automatic starter and an understudy from that range of developing options might also be the best approach to a problem without a silver bullet solution.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, and you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.